大家好好. Don't worry, I was just joking. I come from the Netherlands, which is a little province of China. But sometimes I will search for words in English or look at my English friends, because sometimes I have difficulties in finding the right words. At least I need your attention, your full attention, and therefore I suggest you close your eyes to begin with. And I'm serious, you should close your eyes, otherwise I'll remove you from class. Okay? Close your eyes. I will do too. Now, think of the best moment in your life you experienced. Okay? Everybody close your eyes? Okay. Now visualize this. Can you see it? Suppose I would give you a pencil and paper, you will find out, so try it at home, that you'll be able to actually draw it. So if you have visualized the best moment in your life, whether it's your wedding or whatever, you can draw it. Now, next visualization is, if you think of your dream, let's say your business dream for the next 10 years, what you want to achieve, visualize it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Nobody sees it? I think silence is same as okay. So promise me, if in the next 10 years, what you see as your best possible success in business will happen, give me an email and think about this moment when you visualize this. Meaning, now you can open your eyes, everything you dream can become possible. Now you know what this is, this device?
Yes.
It's a laser measure or whatever. Could you possibly measure and put it up here? Okay, here.
Yeah.
So I want to show my length.
Okay.
Put it on first. Okay. Push the right button and make sure that you have it at the top of my head. Okay?
Top of your head here.
Yeah, and then it should point out there.
All right.
No.
Top of the head there.
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah? Push it. Again? Okay, wonderful. You see? Thank you, Neil.
That's all right. That's all I need to do.
That's
Fine.
all I need to do. Whoa, what an applause. I claim that I'm one of the smallest sign makers in the world. At least I'm one of the smallest here in the room. The length of my hair is about 8 millimeters, so maybe even the shortest with the shortest haircut. And the rest of my body I won't talk about. Do I have your attention? All right. Still 20 minutes left? All right. Now, I happen to live in one of the smallest countries in the world, at least one of the smallest countries in Europe. Maybe we're a little bit larger than Belgium. But that's there. And this country happens to be, to have the highest Twitter rate of well, I figure Europe. And this is where my company is resided. I was paying attention this morning, and I understand that I am one of the 80% small family-run companies with big weaknesses and big troubles. And also I heard that truck advertisement or car graphics is declining, and that's 75% of our business. So I hope I can give you an interesting presentation. Maybe that was the reason to start with a little bit of entertainment, so the rest of the 15 minutes is easy for me. Anyway, what's the next slide? Yeah, in this small country, we realized, I have a laser. We happen to have, there are just 3 points saying sign maker, one of the highest densities of sign makers, small companies, even large companies, and I'm one of the smaller companies, and we seem to have the highest density of print capacity, meaning lots of price erosion and competition, so it's a difficult life daily. And even if we come back from FESPA exhibition, everybody buys new printers and even faster printers and quicker printers, and so it's a heck of a job and there's almost no solution. Anyway, that is not the reason I'm here. I have a dream, and one of the dreams was to break out of this prison and to do business for major clients. Like, that's also something odd in the Netherlands. We have major brands, not just Dutch brands, but also like Starbucks and Tommy Hilfiger and Nike. They all have EMEA head offices in the Netherlands, probably due to fiscal reasons or whatever, but it's very interesting. So my dream is to service those clients, although I'm very small, as I proved to you. So we find a nice brother, and that is named Glimma, which stands for Global Image Management. And now we do supply the rest of the world. We produce menu boards for Starbucks and for all over Europe. We dispatch them. We also, except for UK, I don't know why, but UK has been a difficult country to enter from us. We also print and install worldwide the Gate Gourmet Group on major airports worldwide with help of Glimma. Is this visible? Yeah. And of course our own brand Heineken. We, not all of them, but at least in the Netherlands a lot, and a lot of countries very far from the Netherlands, we produce and install fleet graphics. Well, so I wanted to prove to you that if you can dream, dreams can come true. This is the second famous quote you all know, of course, and this did happen, didn't it? So what's next? This is sort of my story, more in terms of not which printer I bought or whatever, but how I personally are motivated and driven to do business or whatever. Well, a little bit about our roots. Apart from, I'm the 7th generation from the ones who moved from South China to Indonesia and things like this. The roots of our company, it was founded by my dad in 1953, 1st of May 1953, so over 60 years. FESPA was founded in 1962, if I'm well informed. So my dad, I know, he even knew the first president, Bob Levison. And of course we did screen print, or he did screen print. He did screen print because he didn't have much money. So he could have opened a restaurant, but then you need a lot of money. Anyway, he started to buy a vacuum cleaner and a screen and things like this. So he started to screen print. And as you all know, with screen print, you can print almost anything. The world was really, really, was very innovative in his well, mind you, in 90, it must have been before 1962, so somewhere around, I was born 1958. 1960, I remember, because he brought something back from US. He went to a show, it must have been an SDIA show, to buy a general press, which is a high-speed, full automated screen printing press. By the way, we were then in Amsterdam, and as you know, in the canal houses, we were in a third floor, and we had a wooden floor, so the machine never worked well. It was wobbling all the time and never registering, and so that gave him a big fear the rest of his career to invest, I must say. Anyway, he also found out in the US vinyl, self-adhesive vinyl. He must have been at a show because he didn't know at that time companies like 3M. Anyway, I know that he brought a little small so-called pre-spaced product back to Holland, and he called the company Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, so always he said Minnesota to me, which is of course 3M. And he then started to do business with Albert Heijn, our largest retail supermarket store, and he was able to do the complete fleet that was still hand-painted, but he was given the job, and that is one of our major issues. He said, I don't want the job unless I can work together with the painter, because he didn't want to put, we say, bread out of the mouth of the painter. So he joined forces with the painter. He used him to do the fitting, and that was over 50 years ago, can you imagine? Anyway, he introduced the word fleet marking. Well known today. I claim that my dad invented the word fleet marking. Anyway, the company was named Omni Screen, not Kwee BV, but Omni Screen. That was a fabulous name, of course, and he renamed it to Omnimark, which I represent here. Well, of course, screen print is all about volume. We love volume. That's in our DNA. We love volume, numbers, volumes, and so on. And since the world became digital, all numbers, and we've seen it on all these charts, dropped, and short runs and one piece, and the whole world changed. So it was a hell of a world for us, because we still are looking for numbers and volumes. Now, we thought, after visiting so many shows and exhibitions, that if you buy the fastest printer, well, then you'll be on top of your job again. So we bought a hell of a machine. It was called, was still Cytex at that time. It was called the press jet. No, not the turbojet, it was the press jet. When they brought in the machine, I was amazed. It was like the Formula One in digital printing. It was such a nice machine, and every customer that came in, we were showing off the machine and was like, wow, this is really something. It was 500 square meters per hour or something. We never managed to make money with the machine. It's not because of Cytex or HP, it's due to us. We weren't able to sell the capacity or whatever. And whenever we had a job of 40 trailers, which is, for us, it's a large job, well, it took the machine maybe a day, and then for the rest of the week, we didn't have enough jobs. So finally, we sold the machine, and but we had to continue. So what we do. Anyway, we focused on fleet graphics. We thought, well, we are from the very start specialized in fleet graphics. Why don't we continue and focus and not try to supply anything, including POS, POP, and so on? No, just fleet. So I'd like to show you a little bit. Till what time can I talk? 7. I need to speed up. Anyway, from analog to digital, of course it is nice. One, if you have nice customers, although the short runs, but the multiple short runs are also, of course, interesting, but it is not volume again. Anyway, what took us by surprise last 10 years was a so-called craftsmanship that all of a sudden came and overtook our world. Nothing digital, it was all about manual wrapping, which is a huge effect on our market. Well, you figure wrapping is interesting. Well, nevertheless, it's a story. I'll try to explain to you. What you see here is an average image of our material costs and our gross margin and our net profit. That was with volume. When we had the short runs, you could ask higher prices, of course. So that was slightly interesting, although the numbers were less. And but it could be a good business model. And then all of a sudden, car wrapping entered our market. Now you can see the volume of the material cost is higher, and the installation, which is interesting, and we do have our own fitting team, is also a lot of money. But what happened is, this is our small country, and we at that time we have 3 fitting teams with so 6 people, 1 team with 2 persons. But wrapping is accurate work. It needs time. It needs attention. So, with starting in a traffic jam, we never achieved to make numbers, because at 5 o'clock the dealer would say, "Can you leave because the alarm will go on," and so on. So again, lots of problems. So what we then figured out, and another quote, of course, if there is nothing left, turn right. So what did we do? We changed our model from car wrapping to what we call fleet wrapping. So I claim this word now. You may use it from now. Volumes again. So the light gray area is, in order to be able to achieve these numbers, we hired fitters. We should have, because I could also have a fitting team of 25 people, but then if there's not enough work, I have the same problem. So I hire people, but these are out-of-pocket costs, of course. This, including the material. You can see the result. Less gross margin. So car wrapping affected our business heavily. It's not interesting, I tell you. But in order to change the situation, we turned right. So what do? We opened our so-called fleet decoration center. Instead of going around the country, we do have fitting teams still in the country, because for especially retail solutions, you have to go to the customer, and sometimes we have to go to the customer. But today, a lot of the cars and trailers come to our premise, and we decorate them. And we also use, for damage and repair service, a so-called network. This is our plan for this year and next year, to have a network of fitters, which we of course pay, again, out-of-pocket costs, but then you have a solution for the customer, at least. So, because we did this, this is the idea. We opened a new hall, and by trailer, all the cars are brought to us. We can concentrate on our work. We start at 8 and we finish at 5, and we achieve at the moment an average of 10 to 12 cars full wrap per day. This is the situation. We have 3 times per week trailer coming in and driving full loaded with decorated cars. So this is the final image. We do make numbers again, volumes, although we don't earn all the money per object. In total, it's a lot of money. Hey, there's one image missing. I altered the presentation in the meantime in the break, and I'm missing one image. Is it on the internet, or you downloaded it? Oh, it should be there. Where is it? Okay, maybe. Anyway, maybe later on we'll show you PostNL. In 2012, we were able to do, due to this system, the total fleet of PostNL, which is 5,000 units. In 2012, we have 24 employees. We achieved 6.2 million euros. But to be honest, in 2013, it dropped by 2 million, for 4.5 million euros. But since we didn't have all the stuff and the fitters on board, there wasn't a problem, so we're still profitable. The TBI is one of the largest building and construction companies in the Netherlands, and this is even more interesting. This is supposed to be the average situation. They would order cars in a special lacquered color at Volkswagen. They had to, in order to do that, here's a number of reasons, they had to give the forecast to Volkswagen every year in the start of the year. That was a heck of a job. If they want to grow, they didn't have enough cars. So we changed this again. What we did is we proposed to them the wrapping. So can you imagine, it's not about printed, it's not a full decorated, no, it's just replacement of the lacquer. Volkswagen wasn't happy because they had to drop the price of the car. But the major advantage for the customer is that the total costs were lower because the price of the car was lower. After 4 years, they would return the car, take off the film, and the lack was even brilliant, so they could ask a higher price. And if during the year they would speed up and they needed more cars, they would ask the leasing company, do you have cars on stock? Yes, please buy them. So they could drop the price, take the cars, whether they were metallized gray or whatever, we would wrap them green, and they were happy. Can you imagine? That would, the total cost of ownership for TBI was less. So this is the business model we do today for a lot of the huge customers. Hope you will leave me to continue my fishing. This is the situation today. Like I said, the trailers coming in, we wrap them in full green. Nobody knows this. Everybody thinks they are colored coming from the manufacturing, and we also built an app to order, easy order for damage and repair service. Okay, now last couple of slides. Our route we had, and this is our drive. We're still sign maker, but we in the supply chain we have an interesting role, and we talk to all partners, including leasing companies, car dealers, importers, and damage and repair body shops. In order to show you, because we love where we are, and we are sign makers, but we are so specialized in car automotive issues, because wrapping a TBI car looks nice in meaning in money, but it's nothing like wrapping a Ferrari or a Porsche. So I have to admit, this still is nagging. So I thought, I want to do that job as well. Okay, I'll go through it quickly. Anyway, I drive myself a Nissan Leaf, 100% electric, so I'm very fond of electric cars. I'm very fond of game changers, so I'm very fond of Elon Musk. These wonderful cars, these Teslas, I thought I want to be their sole rep specialist. So I introduced a presentation, I sent it along, and they were spread out, hopefully over the whole of the world. At least we have an EMEA factory of Tesla in Tilburg in the Netherlands. Amazing, of course. So I built this presentation to hopefully influence them. And it's just a thought. It was available on the internet, of course. If I go too fast, just tell me. This looks familiar, isn't it? This was for Adobe. The Royal Army in the Netherlands. High-end car app service, exclusive or personal, fully audited. Well, you can read. We even have a tent service, meaning it's an inflatable tent. We go to the customer, we inflate it, we put it on over the car, and we wrap it. Of course, internationally possibilities. Tesla replied to me, and because it's not an OEM warranted delivery, they couldn't. Well, they are. We did 2 Teslas. That's it. But, and that's my last quote. Mr. Steve Jobs Square, Elon Musk. I was granted the order to do 26 Tesla service vans all over Europe. So, anyway, this is the last quote I'd like to share with you. My personal quote, meaning Paul Manlis happily, but never forget. Oh, now I see it's not the right slide. Never forget to also follow your heart. Okay? Thank you for listening.